And recording.
Welcome to the Nifty Chicks. In this Nifty News episode, we'll be discussing what the heck happened to Terra Luna, Instagram entering the NFT market, and the fall of Azuki. Let's do this. Welcome to the Nifty Chicks. Hi, Minty Cell.
Hi, NFT.
What's going on?
Just another day in paradise. Though it's been rainy here today.
It has. For anyone that's in Puerto Rico, you know that rain comes and goes in the same day in like 10-minute spurts.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was funny though, because it was like pretty, it's been overcast and like dark all day. And the sun is finally like kind of making an appearance. So that's not normal for us.
I know where you can start to see some sun kind of peeking through the windows here.
Right. If you're watching on YouTube, that is.
That's true.
Right. If you're listening, you can't see anything.
That is true, but you can imagine it. Just imagine a Caribbean island. All right.
So there's a lot going on in crypto and NFTs right now, and it is not been a lot of good news.
Yeah,
lately.
There's a lot of red. If I'm looking at my crypto app, my Coinbase app, and there's a lot of red.
It is not pretty.
It is not pretty.
No. So I think, speaking of that, I think the first thing we should talk about is Terra Luna, because there's a lot of people that are in a bad space because of what happened there. And there's a lot of speculation about what actually caused the free fall. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for those of you listening to the podcast. Highly recommend that you go check us out on YouTube so that you can see what I'm sharing. Otherwise, I guess just listen along and we'll try and talk you through it.
Yeah. So this is pretty painful to be.
Look at that drop.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's not fun. So I think the reality is, we've talked about crypto and NFTs being risky. This is a perfect example, which is why no one should be investing money that they rely on. If they need the money to live off of, there are plenty of other great places to invest. This is just a risky environment, and
never invest money you can't afford to lose.
Exactly, especially in the crypto and NFT market space. It's just risky, and this is a perfect example. So, Terra Luna is a
let's just clarify here. So Terra is like the main company, and Luna is LUNA is the what it's traded. So it's like their trading name, right? So if you're looking it up, Luna is what you would look up.
Correct. Yeah. And Luna and Terra USD or the symbol UST are considered stable coins, which is supposed to track with the US dollar, USDT. So as the world fluctuates and the markets fluctuate, you can see stable coins typically go up a tiny bit, maybe $1 and a couple of cents, and it goes down to like maybe 98 cents. But they're literally designed to track the US dollar. And therefore, a lot of people, anytime they're kind of in the middle of trading things, they'll kind of transfer it to Luna or buy Luna to kind of hold any of their money that they want to keep, right? So usually people who invest in stable coins,
it's typically less risky than other cryptos.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, my understanding of what's happening here is that for whatever reason, which is still very unclear, but as you can see, Luna, which usually tracks around, $1, has just tanked to, I'm not even sure what it is right now.
I looked earlier and it was at 2.027 a few minutes ago.
Yes, I am seeing that right now. Yes, point
Mhm.
zero. I have now 0.03, which means, if I had $100 in, Luna, I now have $3.
Mhm.
So,
So there's some speculation too around what caused this, what made this happen, and of course, everybody has theories, right? So
yeah,
one of them that I saw floating around was about Citadel and BlackRock, and that there was something funky going on there, that they were borrowing and then going to repay, and it sounded very similar to what happened with GameStop a few months ago.
yeah. Which, if anybody remembers, the kind of the retail market. I mean, essentially, just the thing skyrocketed. I mean, AMC and GameStop, which
Mhm.
are stocks that, I mean, just did not have a strong chart for quite some time, skyrocketed. And the theory behind that was that retailers were trying to gain up against these big hedge funds that had short positions. So,
Mhm.
in the short positions, you're talking about people who believe it's going to go down, and so you basically bet on it going down. It's like, if anybody's played craps in a craps table at a casino, it's the do not pass line. That's essentially what the shorting of a position is. And there's a bunch of hedge funds that had shorted those holdings and those stocks, and so you had a bunch of retail investors on Reddit who got together and were like, let's just basically screw them over and
Yeah.
have the price skyrocket. And now these hedge funds were, some of them had to even close, I mean, because they lost so much on those
Right.
short positions. So I don't know how this is happening. I'm not sure. I'm sure we're going to get clarity. I mean, there's no way that the CEO can't, you know, um, take the stance that he doesn't know how this happened. He can do
Right.
that for a couple of days while he does some research, but eventually he's going to need to give some answers, because this is important. This is pretty big.
Mhm. Yeah, and I don't know. There's talk of like them being able to come back and rebound from this, and I don't know how you do that. I mean,
Yeah.
I hope they do, for the sake of everybody that's invested in them and that have lost so much money.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for those that aren't aware, like I said, stable coins are supposed to track with the US dollar. USDT is the only stable coin, I believe, the only stable coin that is fiat backed, meaning that, like,
Mhm.
true US government money can basically back that
Right.
holding. Other than that, stable coins are just traded based on the fluctuation of the market. So, my understanding with Terra and Luna and the relationship between that is, anytime it pegged below USD, the US dollar, then they would buy and sell to just literally keep it within that line. So, if you are in crypto and you're looking at stable coins, just be aware that, again, it's all a level of risk. So
Mhm.
be smart, be careful, do your own research.
Yep. And this one is one that I appreciate because, I like Instagram, and of course, I like NFTs. And so Instagram's going to start testing NFTs on the platform. And I believe that you'll be able to buy and sell NFTs within Instagram, which I think is interesting that they're getting in on the game. There's there's a little part of me that says stay in your own lane to Instagram, but they're owned by Meta, and they're trying to do and like be all for the world. So I'm really not surprised. So they are testing this out. I'm not sure if it says what markets they're testing this in, but a small group of US users will have the ability to display NFTs on their feed, stories, and in messages.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, obviously owned by Meta, that's the direction that they're going. NFT, metaverse. It's a rebrand of Facebook, if anybody hadn't heard. So Facebook has rebranded into the name Meta. That's Mark Zuckerberg's world. And this makes total sense that they would go this direction. So not surprised.
Right. Yep. So there you go. Speaking of NFTs and things just going south in the world of all things crypto and NFTs, Azuki has run into some problems. The founder put out on a blog that he was a part of all these other, like 3 other projects that he rugged everybody on. And he's the founder of Azuki. I that to me is just crazy. And I don't know what, I know Azuki went down. I think what they were at and then what they're at now. I haven't looked today, but I think yesterday they were trading around 15 ETH.
Yeah. So we know that rug pulls happen. And if you haven't heard our previous episode on terminology, a rug pull is when a project creator creates a project, sells their NFTs, pockets some money, and then disappears and leaves the entire project, the community, and the roadmap behind. So we know that that happens, unfortunately, more frequently than anybody would like to see. And Azuki was a huge project, super successful. I mean, it's been on top of the charts for, I mean, I want to say 2 months now.
Yeah, a while, for sure.
A while, yeah. And I mean, the thing skyrocketed, and it's been doing extremely well. So when their founder came out and referenced the 3 projects that he had previously worked on and abandoned, that leaves the holders like, well, how do we know you're not going to do that on this project? And rightfully so. Everyone would, I would have that same question too if I were an Azuki holder. So, obviously you as soon as that comes out, you're going to see some people being like, I want out of this. I don't trust this guy. So, I mean, reputation is huge in the NFT world. And it's
and that's what we talk about. Like, it's important for you to do your own research. And I mean, I really like it when the founders are doxxed and who's doing what, and you can put a face with a name, and they're putting themselves out there and on the line, because you just never know when they are hiding behind avatars and whatever, and they can walk away at any time with no consequences and all your money.
Yeah. And this is, again, another example of NFTs are risky. So at the all-time highs, the floor was 20 ETH, meaning the cheapest Azuki you could buy was 20 ETH. And now, as of a couple of days ago, the lows were hitting around 10 ETH. So someone who had bought that floor, Azuki, lost 50% of their investment pretty quickly too. So
and the only thing you can hope here is that either they come back and say, like, we're 100% behind this, and or they do like other projects have done. Like, I always mention Fame Ladies, mostly because I just think they're amazing, and I have one right there. I'm getting another one. She'll be here soon for my wall. But they claim to be a women-led project and found out that they weren't. And the community took over, and a female-led community took over. And they are now running with the project, and it's, I think it's doing great.
Yeah. I don't know.
Minus the fact that the whole market's down, but
yeah. Well, yeah.
There's that.
There is
so that. We talked about, Other Deed, Other Side, the Bored Apes metaverse, and what's happening there last week. And we've been talking about them for a few weeks now, I feel like. But again, they're back in the news, and because everything in crypto is tied together. So all this happened with Terra and Luna, and then Bitcoin's been in a downward spiral. ETH's been in a downward spiral. Everything kind of gets all together, and when they go down, they all go down, and when they go up, they all go up. And NFTs are tied to that as well, because that's how you buy and sell NFTs. So if, crypto goes down, NFTs go down. So of course, now we're seeing that the other deed NFTs have fallen below the mint price. And yeah, so this is why I always say hodl. Like, I'm actually out, I've been buying because everything is down. It's like, okay, so have you heard the quote by Warren Buffett? It's be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. So, a lot of people are out there like, oh my God, Bitcoin's going to zero. I got to sell now so I don't lose everything. And I'm out there like, again, not financial investment advice. This is just how I work. I see Bitcoin going down and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go buy some, because I don't think that we're going to go to zero. I think we're going to go back to where we were, like a year ago, and even higher. I think Bitcoin's here to stay, and I think I think this is the fall before the next boom.
Yeah.
Hopefully
It is.
I'm right.
You are right, though. It is all kind of correlated together, right? If I were to buy an NFT for 1 ETH, and let's say ETH is $3,000, and then ETH drops, now my NFT, the value of it, just because ETH has dropped, is now worth 2,500 if I were to sell it again back at 1 ETH. Right. But you're right. Some people look at a down market as a buying opportunity, like you just said, and you can essentially get NFTs on a discount if you think of it that way, right? So if something is, so if I now have that NFT, I bought it for 3,000, the market has dropped, and now ETH is worth 2,500. Now my NFT is worth 2,500. If I were to sell it for 1 ETH again, then a buyer can buy that same exact NFT for 1 ETH, which is now 2,500. So it's a discount, So when, I think you and I had the same mentality like a week ago. We were like, all right, NFTs are on sale. Let's go on a shopping spree.
Yep.
But it's, everyone has to be, take into consideration their own level of like risk tolerance and
right. And your finances, like, don't ever, don't overextend yourself. Don't be out there buying NFTs if you can't pay your mortgage. Like,
right.
You got to be smart about how you're spending your money and investing your money.
Exactly. 100%. So
yeah,
everything, there's a lot of things that are down. I'm not sure I can think of any project that is up. So, it's a wild west, and it's a challenging time for a lot of people, because obviously when anybody invests any of their money, it's important. It's their money that they're investing. So seeing everything in red is painful for everyone.
And I do just want to say this, because I've seen a lot of people out there on Twitter commenting about how, like, they've lost their life savings. This is, horrible for them, like the worst thing that's ever happened. And I unfortunately have seen people saying to the effect that they're going to commit suicide. And I really, really hope that if you are in that space, that you seek out help. There's like the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. Reach out to people. Like, this is not the end of the world. Just know that. And like, you don't have to go to that extreme. Like, there are people that will support you and help you through this time.
Yeah. And reach out to us. Like, we're not experts in that world, but we are living and breathing it too. And we've invested our own dollars in this market, and we're also experiencing the pain along with everyone else. So, we're here as a community. We're here for you. And this whole space is pretty supportive of one another, and we're all in it together. And so just know that you're not alone.
Definitely. And so I wanted to finish up our news with something I love. I found this one. So I guess, and I don't think I've ever seen her, but I guess there's a fearless girl statue in New York, and she's there to empower women. And I think this is really cool. So the artist, the sculptor who created the fearless girl statue, is going to turn it into an NFT sale. And we've been talking about it a lot lately, but Jen FT and I are going to be in New York for NFT NYC, and we've been discussing. We're like, okay, we have to go find this girl and take some pictures with her because that would be awesome. And then I'm also like, ooh, I'm going to probably have to get one of these NFTs if I can get my hands on them.
Yeah. I love this. I love everything about this. So this fearless girl statue in New York, it sits right across the New York Stock Exchange. And I just love that there's a female and a girl in that space. Like even just in that physical space is just so cool and so empowering. And the piece is a symbol that fights equality, the need for gender collaboration and parity. The artist, she explains that the fearless girl legally stands for the empowerment of women, equality, equal pay, supporting women in leadership positions, the education of women, education in the workplace for the prevention of prejudice, and the general well-being of women. And that just aligns with everything we stand for and love. So I love the fact that she's there. There's a lot of, I guess, dispute on this statue, and some people saying that it's like, it's fake, a fake corporate feminism stance, which is like, I don't know, there's always going to be some haters, but I love her and I'm excited that she's there, and I'm excited for the NFTs that come along with her. I think we do need to take a trip, you and I, while we're in the city, to Wall Street and get a photo with her. And I love it.
Me too. So I guess I just want to finish with saying again, reach out to people if you are having feelings of despair from this down market, and hopefully things will be turning around soon. And I mean, my hope is like next week we have a completely different news and it's all like, oh my gosh, look at the markets, and we're all happy and things have turned around. So I just want to finish with, as always, be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast player. And we would love it if you would leave us a review. Those help us be found so that we can reach more women that are interested in NFTs and the crypto space. And I'll let you take it home, Jen FT.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to the Nifty Chicks. Always remember, invest in yourself. You are worth it. Please listen carefully to the following disclaimer. Neither the host nor the guests of the Nifty Chicks podcast are acting in the capacity of financial advisors. We wish to remain transparent and impartial to the NFT community at all times, and therefore, the content provided by the Nifty Chicks hosts and guests are intended for general information purposes only. Nothing written or discussed by the Nifty Chicks hosts and guests should be construed or relied upon as investment, financial, legal, regulatory, accounting, tax, or similar advice. Nothing should be interpreted as a solicitation to invest in any cryptocurrency or NFT, and nothing herein should be construed as a recommendation to engage in any investment strategy or transaction. Please be advised that it is in your own best interest to consult with investment, legal, tax, or similar professionals regarding any specific situation and any prospective transaction decisions. You must do your own research when considering investing in cryptocurrencies or NFTs. We are simply sharing our journey with you as we learn more about the world of NFTs. Happy minting.